Welcome to Africa Climate Rights Channel, and today I want us to discuss about what weather is, what climate change is, and of course, coming from climate, what climate is, and how all these intersects with the human rights. Weather is basically the state of the atmosphere in a given place, in a given time. But now time becomes a very important parameter, especially when we are differentiating between weather and climate. Because whether we are looking at the daily, you know, the daily atmospheric conditions of a place, where we will say um, it's rainy, it's windy. We could also say that it's very hot today or it's very cold today. So we are basically describing the state of the atmosphere. And that is on a particular day because changes within the atmosphere happen very rapidly. But now when we discuss about climate, this is the average daily weather conditions of a given place over a period of time. In this period of time, we are talking about between 30 to 35 years. So we are able to take average, the total of every day's recordings, and this happens in a meteorological station or an observatory that relays data to a meteorological station. Meteorological station is in most countries, this is the agency that is mandated to observe and collect weather information. So they are able to store this information. It's received daily. Sometimes it is the observation can be done manually, and sometimes it can be through automatic weather stations, which are able to record how the wind speeds were, the wind direction, how the rainfall amounts that were received, the atmospheric pressure, and many other things, humidity. So when this is summed up through a period of 30 to 35 years, then it's possible for us to now say, based on the results, this is the climate of a particular place. So we are looking at it as total weather conditions of a particular place over a period of 30 to 35 years as an average of those conditions. Now, when it comes to climate change, we have already defined what weather is, we have defined what climate is, and now we want to define what is climate change. So when you talk of climate change, we are talking about now the shifts we are able to observe across these 30 years. How has, are there any shifts that have happened within the occurrences? So if we determine any shifts that are significant, it's able to tell us how the variations have been happening across. Maybe we are looking at it from, this is 2025, and we could be looking at it 30 to 35 years. This could be around, it could be 1985 up to 2025 today, or 1995 up to 2025 today. So 1995 up to 2025, that's around 30. We are looking at it from 1980, that's about 45 years. But we are interested to look at, are there any shifts? And this introduces also a closer term that is easily confused or brings about confusion, and that is climate variability. But for today, our focus is to look at climate change, climate and weather, and now we get back to see how does this intersect with the human rights. But before looking at it in terms of human rights, it's important to realize that these long-term shifts that occur within our atmosphere and at a very particular place, this means that depending on where you are. You could be in the same country, but you experience the shifts are different. And that's why when we are discussing about impacts of climate change, or we are talking about governance as far as climate change is concerned, planning and decision making, it is important for it to be localized. And localization means that we are taking into consideration the particular dimensions. The particular dimension means or includes even the livelihood of people in that particular place. They are people, and especially the old folks, who have been in a particular place for quite some time, over that 30 years, for example, or 40 or 50 years. They have had experiences and they know how things have changed. What are the shifts that have been incurred? How are the common patterns? You know, as far if we are talking about temperature, shifts in temperature, or we are talking about the amount of rainfall that is received, they have a perfect understanding. And that's why it's very, very important when it comes to governance or climate governance to bring into space what we call the indigenous knowledge. So when we look at how the occurrence or the observations, whether it is from a scientific approach through meteorological records, or we are getting feedback from the community, the indigenous knowledge about how the community has been coping, it leads us to a very important uh, deduction. There have been shifts. Temperatures have been changing. The amounts of rainfalls